Envee the Dog. Every child eagerly anticipates the day when a new puppy will bound into their life. A furry companion, a loyal friend, a living embodiment of unconditional love. For me, that day was a whirlwind of excitement, hope. He was all tan, with a white patch on his chest, small and bird-like in build. I named him Scottie. His coat dusty and thin, but his gaze, that gaze was pure hope. When I reached through the cage bars, he pressed his face against my fingers, as if he'd been waiting for me his whole life. And in that moment, I believed I just found my best friend. I could almost hear the joyous symphony of his barks as he imagined a life filled with play and companionship. But little did I know, that joy would soon be overshadowed by a harsh reality. We brought him home on a Friday. That night, he slept curled into the hollow of my chest, his breath warm against my neck, his tiny heart beating steady and safe. I brought him home, envisioning lazy afternoons tossing a ball in the yard. But instead, I would unknowingly usher him into a life of loneliness. I thought I had saved him. I was wrong. The first night together was magical. Scottie snuggled close, sensing the warmth of safety for the first time. I could feel his tiny heartbeat against my side, a rhythm that promised friendship and loyalty. That evening, as we lay in bed, my mother stood in the doorway, her silhouette sharp against the hallway light, arms crossed like a boa constrictor.
"Dogs don't belong in the house,"
she hissed. Her voice wasn't loud, but it thundered through clenched teeth, her disapproval echoing in the darkness of the dimly lit hallway. Scottie growled, a low rumble from a body far too small to be threatening. But I could feel the trembles. He knew. We both did. My heart sank like a stone as I realized that Scottie's fate was sealed. I thought the plan was to make Scottie part of the family. Saturday was warm, the kind of spring day that smells like fresh-cut grass and dust. The day was filled with possibilities. We went to the hardware store and picked out a wooden, heavy-duty, all-weather doghouse. I didn't think twice. Yeah, now Scottie has his own house, like I have my own room, which he can go to when he's not in the house. Yeah, I was too young and too naive to recognize it for what it was. A prison, not a gift. I watched helplessly as Mother led Scottie to the heavy-duty doghouse in the yard, a far cry from the cozy bed we had shared. "This is where you'll sleep now," she said, her voice firm as she chained him to a metal post in the ground to hold the metal chain that kept Scottie in close proximity to his heavy-duty doghouse. Why is the doghouse so far away from our house? When is Scottie going to sleep in my bed again? The reality of Scottie's new life was heartbreaking. No longer was he allowed in the house, let alone my bed. That's it? We rescued a living thing, only to give it just barely. It was her idea to place it far from the house, she said, so he doesn't bark at the windows. 39 feet to be exact. That was the distance between his world and mine. 39 feet between warmth and cold, between comfort and punishment, between love and neglect. I stood frozen, watching Scottie's eyes, once bright and hopeful, dim with confusion. Why was he being banished? I wanted to scream, to claw at the injustice of it all. But all I could do was watch as he settled into his new life, one of isolation, fear, and longing. One meal of dried kibble dog food and a bowl of water, which in Scottie's excitement would sometimes get knocked over. The next night, I watched Scottie through the frosted glass as rain pelted down, his little body curled on a damp blanket, ears twitching at every thunderclap. I cried into my pillow as lightning flashed, imagining him tethered to that steel post like a condemned soul in the storm, a dog chained to the earth while the sky raged above. Scottie didn't deserve any of this. I should have learned something different, because my heart was heavy. I knew what was happening to Scottie was wrong, but as a child, moreover, an abused child, I was powerless but wanted Scottie to be free. As days turned into weeks, I grew increasingly aware of the torment I had unwittingly conspired and caused. When thunderstorms rolled in like thousands of dark, angry crows, I could hear Scottie's whimpers penetrating the walls of our warm home. As I lay in bed, cocooned in safety, I imagined him huddled in that cold, heavy-duty doghouse, shivering, longing for the warmth of companionship. "Why can't you be here with me?" I whispered into the night, my heart heavy with guilt. The sight of Scottie each morning tugged at my soul. He would emerge from his doghouse, tail wagging, but the joy in his movements was marred by the mud and filth. I would offer him his meal, dry and uninviting, and his eyes would light up. Yet, I couldn't shake the feeling that I had failed him. "I'm sorry," I would say, crouching down to scratch behind his ears, but the words felt hollow. How could I explain to him that I was just a child, trapped in a home where love was conditional? He deserved better, a life filled with adventure, warmth, and the affection he so freely gave. One fateful night, as a storm raged outside, I could no longer bear the thought of Scottie alone. I begged her, "Just when it storms." "He's afraid of storms," she relented once. With my heart pounding, I crept down the stairs, my breath hitching as I approached the door. "Come on, Scottie," I called softly, my voice trembling with hope. After a moment of hesitation, he emerged from his doghouse and slowly walked toward me, head down but eyes wide with trust. Then recognition softened his posture. That same boy from the bed was here, offering shelter. Together, we descended into the basement, escaping the tempest outside. He stepped slowly down into the basement. No tail wag, just trust. No words were spoken. None were needed. As I sat on the cold, hard floor, Scottie curled up in my lap, a warm, furry weight resting his head against my chest. I closed my eyes, allowing the sound of his gentle breathing to soothe my troubled spirit. In that moment, I knew I had given him a taste of freedom, however fleeting, and it filled me with a bittersweet joy. He vigorously licked my face, as if he was thanking me. We fell asleep on the cold concrete basement floor. But it was temporary. It always was. Morning came, and so did the ritual. A scoop of dry kibble, a metal bowl of water. The storms continued, and so did the guilt. Each time I returned to the yard, I felt the weight of my choices pressing down on. No more belly rubs, no more games. Just a quick, "Good morning, Scottie," and back to school, or work, or practice. Still, his tail wagged, always. Even when he stood ankle-deep in a sludge of mud, urine, and leftover stormwater. He wagged his tail. Even when his only connection to me was the jangling chain that dug into the frostbitten earth, he wagged his tail. Even when I avoided eye contact because I couldn't bear the weight of my guilt, he wagged his tail. I wish I could say I didn't know better, that I didn't understand what we were doing. But I did. Children always know when love turns into cruelty. They just don't have the power to stop it. After all, I was an abused child, powerless, like him. Scottie and I shared the same invisible torment. His was the chain that kept him bound to the earth. Mine was violence masquerading as love. "Run away, Scottie. Be free," I would whisper, my heart aching with the knowledge that I was the one who had trapped him. I longed for him to find a home that would love him as he deserved, to be the dog I had always hoped he would be. As the seasons changed, I watched Scottie endure the cold winters and torrential rains, his spirit unbroken despite the hardship. He would greet me each morning with that same wagging tail, a testament to his resilience. I often lay awake at night, haunted by the thought that I was failing him. That's what haunts me to this day, that I stood by and watched the kindest creature I've ever known wither in silence, that I stayed silent with him, that the joy I found in his eyes turned into suffering. We didn't rescue Scottie. We relocated his misery. Scottie had been abandoned before, yet he still chose to love me. He was the embodiment of loyalty, and in return, I had given him a life of neglect. The realization that I was complicit in his suffering gnawed at me, a constant reminder that true companionship requires sacrifice and love. In the end, Scottie's story is not just one of a dog trapped in a yard. It's a reflection of the complexities of love and the responsibilities that come with it. I now understand that he was never just a pet. He was a living being with emotions, dreams, and the right to be loved unconditionally. As I reflect on our time together, I wish I could rewrite our story to grant Scottie the freedom and joy he so richly deserved. Though his life was filled with hardships, he taught me the true meaning of companionship, a lesson I carry with me, etched deeply in my heart. I prayed that one night, during a gentle rain, Scottie would finally find the strength to break the chain and run far, run free. I pictured him galloping through the woods, ears pinned back, tongue out, snow dusting his fur. No leash, no commands, no restraints, no pain. I imagined someone else found him, someone who let him sleep by the fireplace, who gave him fresh food and water and scratched behind his ears until he groaned in delight. Sometimes, when I hear thunder in the distance, I still imagine him, ears flattened, body trembling, alone in his heavy-duty doghouse as the world crashes around him. I wonder, did he hate me? Did he wonder what he had done wrong? And the most painful truth of all, he never hated me. Not once. Every day, he greeted me with hope. Every night, he curled into the hard floor with the damn blanket, and it was enough. He was loyalty incarnate. Scottie deserved more than a chain and a cold floor. He deserved to be loved. I tell this story not for sympathy, but as penance. If you ever see a dog chained outside in the cold, don't tell yourself, he's just a dog. Remember Scottie. Remember that the line between rescue and neglect is only drawn by what we do after we bring them home. Thank you for watching. We should all envy the dog.